Game 13, round 1. These are the bids. And Soviets went first, Japan went last, and you see the rest. We also did turn 0 builds at half resources, rounding up, but then America had to subtract 1 because they're not fully engaged in the war in 1941. But here are their builds and their moves. A9, we got a battle going there. A7, we've got a German force making sea lion operation and a bit of British Navy trying to stop it. And we've got a British contingent out in the water, which could likely die. A6, we got air versus sea. South Atlantic quiet. We got the Italians moving troops into M1, making a threat. France is emptied out. They went into A7. Norway emptied out, went into A7. And the Allies are bombing the Danes with just air. Here you see the Italian builds, Germany building a sub, and some land units in the middle of Central Europe. Russia moved a lot of guys over to the east, way over, and they're invading Ukraine is the only combat on the Eastern Front. Building a couple of troops back in Moscow. In the Mediterranean, we got convoy raid, British Navy moving in from the Indian Ocean, and a suicide run into Libya. South Africans doing a build, and the South African military is moving up through the railroad. Madagascar is quiet. And the big news, India has been emptied out and moved west, young man. Planes and troops. Indian Ocean is virtually empty. Japan moving some aircraft around. China invading on the coast. Not much naval movement. The British moved to P-17. Of course, the Battle of the Solomon Islands continues. U.S. Navy there. P-19 did not move. Japanese Navy did not move. But Japan put some troops in the water. And Japan broke the Soviet pact by invading the Soviet Union, going in 2 directions. And in the Pacific, America is moving stuff west. Round 1 combat results. 2 German subs sunk in the Atlantic. 1 British cruiser sunk. 1 German sub sunk. No, didn't lose any subs. And in A6, lost a Russian sub and a Russian cruiser. And in A3, the British troop transports died, and we got some convoy raid hits. In Libya, it was just 1 fighter that came off aircraft carrier, and no death, but it did put my Axis aircraft up in the air.
Denmark.
In Denmark, most of the troops were killed except for 1 infantry, and I got a couple of planes killed on the Allied side. Ukraine holds with just 1 tank left. Nothing going on there. Nothing much going on here. Oh, but Japan and China swap factories. No, Japan loses a factory in Peiping, but gains a factory in R16. And Solomon Islands are barren of any troops. Everybody's dead on the island. So I guess Japan still maintains control. That's it for combat. Let's take a quick look at the dead. And see, yeah, those convoy raids actually racked up some stress points. Round 2, game 13, here are the bids. Germany, bidding 7. He really wanted to go first. And Japan and UK both bid 1. They went first and third, like so. And America built a big land stack, moved it up into Canada. Atlantic in the west is pretty quiet. We got an invasion of Iceland, thanks to Rob. He gave me that idea. Americans are taking on the German U-boats in A3. And the much anticipated Battle of Britain. This time, Operation Sea Lion. And the Italians are going in to fight the garrison in Gibraltar. On the Eastern Front, we've got Belarus under fire, Ukraine under fire, and Turkey has been invaded by the Allies. A lot of forces. And in the Med, pretty darn quiet, just a convoy raid, North Africa. These guys don't want to shoot at each other for some reason. And the middle of India is going to fall to the Japanese.
Wow, we were expecting him to rail back or something.
He did not rail back.
He went into Turkey. Not what we thought.
And the 40th of the Germans came over from A3, long-range amphibious assault into R12, striking the oil country of the USSR. Also being struck, Japan moving into that one, R13, which also has one oil. Oh wow, look at Southeast Asia. Barely the fighting's only occurring on the coast. No threats to Japanese oil. And we've got Peiping under fire with an air assault. And J5, one Chinese troop has gone in to cause trouble there. And the Japanese Air Command did not move. And in J3, we've got no combat happening. Just a large stack moved up there. And giant sea battle in P1. Japanese 12, America 10. The only air sport is from the carriers.
Which I sailed one. I flew one of mine out.
Here is all of America's Air Force in the Pacific down in P19.
I think they were.
And Australia has consolidated. And in the Pacific, troops moving over, and other troops enjoying Hawaii. And the 8th Navy is not moving.
Probably because he's building
That's it.
2 battleships.
And from last time, the Japanese and Russians both dropped 1 on the Wheel of Misfortune. We will see you guys after combat.
5 yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow.
Naval battle P1.
1 blue. 2 green, 1 red, and a black. And for the black, I'm tempted to hit the sub, just so he does not fight me again next turn. So what's worse? I'd rather have a sub there than nah. I'm gonna hit the sub. I don't want no dived subs.
First instincts.
Escaping every turn. It's gonna dive on me every turn if I don't kill it now.
Now the Allies roll.
That was my 10. Here comes the 10.
1 yellow. 4 blues. 2 greens.
I'm gonna use the blues to get hit by the 2 greens.
Okay. 2 greens, blues. 1 red.
How many blacks do you have?
2 blacks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the red get assigned.
No.
Yeah. Okay, now where are you assigning your 2 blacks?
I'm gonna put them both on the battleship.
You probably would have done that anyway, huh? Okay, so all 4 of my subs dive.
Dive, dive, dive. Second roll, Axis.
Oh, was he still left?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let him die with that.
Okay.
Yeah, need lots of blues. I don't see that. That's stupid. We gotta do we want to count that as a yellow? I think we should. And plus, it's a miss, so you won't object. 2 blues. 2 reds. 2 blacks and a white. So, if we go black, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I'm just gonna go black, black, white. Okay, 10 dice for you.
One. Second roll.
3 yellows,
Okay,
3 blues,
okay.
1 green, 1 red, and 2 blacks.
How do you want to assign the blacks?
We'll sink the battleship
There's
and
one.
damage that battleship.
Oh,
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 more dice for the Axis. Last 10.
Can I get the carrier? I definitely see 3 blues. I think I see a bunch of greens. That's the 3 blues, and I see 2 greens and a white. So yeah,
Perfect.
got everything. Okay, what do you get? 7?
Wiped out.
6.
Oh.
2.
Does the white work for? Don't you already have to be damaged to use a white?
Yeah, but it was 2 greens and a white.
Four yellows, 1 blue, 1 green.
That's it. I got lucky, and with port advantage, they heal.
Imperial Japan survives. U.S. Navy wiped out.
I lost 4 cruisers and a battleship. Oh, Uncle Steve was the one that talked me into bringing the cruisers into P1, and at first I almost canceled it, but then I thought, if there's a huge battle there, these guys are going to be an escort, and they're going to protect my capital ships.
Yay, Uncle Steve.
So he saved the day. So you get credit for sinking the entire American Navy.
Japan gets, you get credit.
No, you get credit.
Oh, I get credit.
Nicely done.
American England.
Battle of Britain, ground war. The Axis survive. The Allies do not. Britain falls.
That's devastating.
I don't know if Payne State talked about Iceland on the Operation Sea Lion, but if he did, if you take Iceland and you take Britain, as I have suggested,
It's fine.
Rob suggested, that any planes left in the Battle of Britain, B1, have nowhere to land. Therefore, all of Britain's aircraft, Air Force, and American Air Force that were stationed there, all are destroyed because they cannot land.
And I even talked about one way to play that would be to actually, as the Allies, to attack Ireland on turn 1. That way you can guarantee you have a landing base. It's a crazy move, but maybe
Makes
if you see
sense.
Sea Lion coming, maybe that's what you do.
Yeah, because there are some players who think that Sea Lion is unstoppable on turn 2.
It is unstoppable. You saw what his defense could be. 3 tanks, an artillery, and a couple infantry guys.
Post-combat. Britain does indeed fall to the Germans. Little battle in A7 and A3. German sub lost. Gibraltar taken. Quiet. Belarus repels the Russian attack with Italian troops remaining. And Ukraine is free from Russian intervention. And Turkey goes over to the Italian side because of the invasion from the Allies. But there are still some Allies there lingering around, but it hasn't fallen yet. North Africa is quiet. Turkey falls. Russia loses 3 oil with some garrison invasions. Japan holds its oil. Vietnam goes over to China. Peiping remains in China's hands. And J5 remains in Japan's hands. And you saw the big battle of P1. Japanese Navy still sailing. And everything else is quiet. So what do you say about America beating stress?
They got 170 casualty points this turn, which is the highest I've ever seen.
170.
Version 2 says that if you get more than 110, you get 6 stress. But that's the version 1. But we're playing with version 2, even though I didn't say it on there. That's what I've added up so far.
Round 3 after lunch, game 13. There's the bids. The Axis wanted to go early. 12:51 hours. And here are the moves. Building, ship and land in America. Big American 8 stack going to A8, wanting to retake the British Isles desperately. Shipping, combat will ensue. Italians are sunning in Gibraltar. France is building. The Kriegsmarine is just hanging out in the Baltic Sea. Russians have taken Finland, going up against the garrison. And Germans and Italians have moved into Leningrad. And G7, is that it? Yeah, G7 is still being battled, but the Germans and Italian Air Force have moved into Bryansk on the outskirts of Moscow. And the 40th German moved down from R12 down into Moscow proper, making an attack with some Japanese bomber help. 37th taken to the Caucasus. No movement in the Turkish battle. Nobody left, nobody came in. But finally Egypt and Rommel is going to take on the vaunted British. South Africa's building navy. The 96 is lost at sea. Japanese are building in India. China is knocking on the door. China is a failed attempt at G5. They're holding on to J4, J5, J4. And Japanese are building tanks in Russia. And a suicide run by the 68th into the water. 36 coming over with some air support. Large Japanese Navy and land stack ready to move on somebody. America has taken wake. And one more ship coming over. And Mongolian has been invaded. 3 Mongolians versus 2 Chinese. And Alaska and Canada are quiet.
We've seen what, 3 neutrals attack this game?
Yeah, that's a record.
That's a record for sure.
I think we got close to a record number of battles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, somewhere around 21. Wow, that is a record. Round 3 is a blowout. Round 3 combat results. German subs ran away. Well, they dove under. 51st moves in there, sitting there. German subs dove, run away from the fight. Nothing to fight in the channel. Nothing going on here. Oh, Bryansk and Leningrad fell to the Germans. R11 fell to the Japanese. In Libya, it was a stalemate. Every land unit died, so the Allies will fly back to Egypt. And nothing down there, still lost. And in Asia, Japan holds J5. Japan takes J4.
And C1.
And C1. Oh, that's that right there.
Lost that one.
But lost to J8, so now India's in peril. Big Navy down here. Suicide runs. Nothing much going here. And the
I
stress
sunk his
wheel.
Navy in P0, and here the strafing run, I shot down a fighter and a bomber, and he killed an infantry.
Mm. And on the stress wheel, we've got Britain down there, dysfunctional. Soviets, Japanese, and USA at the second one. And so far, China, Germany, and Italy have fared the easiest in this war. Their population is saying, hey, this is just fine. Let's keep it going. Round 4, game 13. US bid 8, wanted to go first very badly. Japan bid 6, wanted to go second, not so badly. Here we are at 14:30 hours. Americans moving offshore and building ships and building troops. And ooh, the Canadians are even building. And look at the British and American Navy. And Americans are going to go free the Queen in Britain. And Russia is going to take G10. And the Italian Navy, I think in maybe only 1 or 2 games, has actually left the Med. And 1/12 is seeking fortune in Africa. Looks like the 1/10 is going to be killed by this. Oh no, he isn't killed by that carrier fighter, so he survives. And Germany is being bombed with an air attack, and there's some defense going on there. And the first Navy of the Kriegsmarine just hanging out in the Baltic Sea. Moscow is under pressure. I'll show you the battle board here in a minute. Iran is going to fall. And Madagascar, the meerkats, are being taken over by the British. And he can't do anything, so he doesn't fly. Some battlements between China and Japan still going on in Southeast Asia. Australia's been invaded by Japanese. Japanese Navy offshore pinned a bunch of British troops. And British and Americans really want New Guinea. Is that right? Yeah. Japanese Navy not moving around. They got the 69th of America in the water with some air cover. And a couple of ships. Guys hanging out in Hawaii. Guys hanging out in Alaska. And Soviets are way down on the stress wheel. British are down a bit. Germans and Italians saying this is a breeze. Now here is the Battle of Moscow. We've already done an air battle and one German fighter shot down. We're just starting the ground war, but it doesn't look good for the Soviet Union. And we have all 3 Axis powers in Moscow. That's a first. Round 4, combat. The Queen is free in Britain. 51st survived with just 1 tank left because Germany didn't send airplanes. And there's a little air skirmish in G1 and some resources lost by Italy. And the big news, Moscow has fallen to the Germans, Italians, and Japanese. A team effort, if you would say so.
However, Japan, in their excitement, bombed the railroad.
But, yeah, so now we gotta get our workers to fix the thing we just bombed. And in Madagascar, the meerkats did not hold out very long.
I could have...
Coming over into Southeast Asia. Oh, Japan is marching across China. China is almost done with... They only got 1 man left. Australia's gonna fall next. And New Guinea is still in Japanese hands. Yeah, way to fight for that island. 69th coming over. We've had Germany fall 1 down the wheel of misfortune. And Soviet Union fell 1. Now they're down in economic collapse.
Britain fell 1.
Britain fell 1.
Japan went up 1.
Japan went up 1, actually gained. spent those resources to go back to the top. I should have recorded all. Okay, America, what do you got to say for yourself?
The Allies have, after a hard, long fought war, we are capitulating. We surrender. And I've given up my ranks.
We've taken his sword.
Yes. We've lost the will to fight.
All right, bring those pigs out.
Alright, here they are. For crimes
Against the wall.
against humanity in Madagascar and in Scandinavia.
Turn and face your accuser. Do you have any last words? I don't care.
Mother Russia will be exonerated.
Thank you. Yeah, like what I was saying is, what would happen now that Russia is almost gone and all of its resources would be going to Germany and Japan. Japan would be sweeping down through Africa, taking all those resources. There's nothing back here that's threatening to the Axis. China is almost eliminated. Australia is gone. America is the only one that's really standing along with Britain. But what the Axis is going to do is just dump planes and boats into the Atlantic until the resources of these three continents outperform North American continent. And eventually, the Axis would win, and we'd have a man in a high castle situation, where the Japanese would then turn on the Germans.
Japanese are boring. I mean, I got to bomb Moscow, but look how close I got, and then you captured it. I'm right outside the gates. I just watched.
You watched it burn, but you did destroy the railroad for me. That's why you did it. Because you were mad. You weren't capturing it.
These Germans aren't going to get home on time if I have anything to say about it.
But yeah.
So what do you think of this particular game, Camden?
It was rough, but it was a really fun challenge. Like the Sea Lion on round 2 was unexpected. I didn't foresee that being as successful as it was, especially taking Iceland. So like we didn't have anywhere to land our Air Force. Got annihilated.
It's a big hurt.
Yeah, I mean we managed to take it back, but just barely. And even then, it's pretty much impossible to hold with what's there and what I should say what's left of it. Asia was pretty fun. Asia was tough though. I lost my entire fleet, pretty early. I think that was round 2. Round 2 was a devastating round for the Allies.
I didn't even do anything. I was just sitting in P1 and they came at me with 10 ships.
Yeah, America lost its fleet. Britain lost its country.
And Steve, you said, I don't think they're going to hit you in P1 because they don't have a supporting Air Force. And sure enough, they came at us. And
he shouldn't have hit you without an Air Force, which was sitting right down here, I think.
Yeah,
and it's up there.
I did a good job at keeping the islands out of control because his airplanes couldn't get on the islands.
Mm-hmm. I took a big gamble as Great Britain, basically getting rid of India or giving it away, and trying to combine forces with the Russians to take Turkey and try to blitz Italy. Unfortunately, Turkey held out for a round. We couldn't take control of it on our first attack.
Yeah, I think they've got the strongest standing army for neutral countries.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to beat.
Spain's pretty tough too. I tried Spain in a game, and I just lost people.
Yeah, it's big armies.
Yeah, and you're not hurting your enemy when you do that.
Yeah.
And then when you gain it, you don't gain much.
Yeah.
All you gain is a backdoor. If you guys hadn't have given up India, maybe the game would have been a little different. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That definitely surprised me. I thought on turn 2 you were going to see Sea Lion coming and you were going to just like revamp your strategies.
Mm.
and go back to India. But
Yeah. I considered it. I think another mistake that I made as Great Britain as well was I didn't build on turn 1. I didn't build any artillery or infantry units on Great Britain. I built them down here in South Africa.
in turn 0.
Oh yeah, in turn 0. So if I would have built them in Great Britain on turn 0 and turn 1, it would have been harder to accomplish Sea Lion. I think it still would have been done just because of the sheer army composition that Germany had, but it definitely would have been a lot more of a slog, I feel like. And so,
Well, I've always said I've never seen. The few times I've tried Sea Lion, what ended up happening is America ends up taking it back. Because if Germany spends more units to go to there, then they end up losing the front with Russia. However, in this game, I mean, look at how much Germany has.
Yeah.
You should have reinforced B1 a little bit with some
yeah.
at some point. Of course, maybe you couldn't because
I thought they were going to surrender after turn 3. We were on the gates of Moscow. Britain has fallen.
So the way that reinforcement, I guess, would just be to like dump airplanes and men into A6. You don't even need boats for that, and then men into B1.
Well, I'm
You
going
can
to
do the whole thing without a navy.
I'll do a future video of telling everybody exactly what I did wrong,
Okay.
and it's so extraordinarily simple.
Really?
And it's a steal from Axis and Allies game. I didn't do that. I should have done that.
So did my Japan play help you out as Germany?
Oh, terrifically.
Oh.
Yeah, because over here in the east,
Oh, that was another thing to interrupt real quick was turn 1, Japanese invasion of Russia. We had considered it, but at least I dismissed it. I don't know if my ally
I
did.
never even captured those two. I just walked right past them.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. I was too
one oil.
much in a hurry to get to somewhere that mattered. So the Cold War is going to be fought between Japan and Germany, actually.
Yeah. And they'll probably soon have nuclear.
And the Iron Curtain is right down Moscow.
Economic collapse for the Soviets. Supply lines disrupted for the British. China, dysfunctional rail use, but they don't have any rails, so it was always dysfunctional. And Germany and US, their labor unions are giving them trouble. But Japan's people are very happy, and Italy's people are drunk and dancing.